Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the new Kill Team starter set. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Kill Team starter set: Space Marines vs. Plague Marines. The deadly new edition of Kill Team dropped into stores, homes, and gaming clubs last weekend, and skirmish combat in the 41st millennia will never be the same. The Kill Team Hivestorm launch box is packed with everything you need to play balanced, competitive operations, a brilliant choice for veteran commanders. But for those just starting down the path of Kill Team, there's a starter set coming to teach you your conceal orders from your TAC Ops. This package contains 14 push-fit miniatures in 2 teams, the proud Space Marines of the Angels of Death facing down the degenerate heretics of the Plague Marines. Alright, so very cool. We obviously knew that there was going to be a Kill Team starter set coming at some point in time, but here it is, our first look. Both sets have been hard to come by in recent years, having been released as 2 separate generations of Warhammer Heroes blind boxes, but they return to the range with an uncomfortably wet bang. And even though they are both designed to be easy for newcomers to play, they're strong teams who are perfectly capable of tussling with any other faction in the game. Okay, interesting. So we have the Plague Marines and then also the Space Marines from the Space Marine Hero set coming. So previously you would buy like the big box and you would get one of each of the models and then one random duplicate model. And there are definitely some nice sculpts, some unique sculpts, and then overall like mixed kill teams. It looks like we're also going to get the starter book, some easy play guides. We've got tokens, including like the range rulers built in with the tokens. So these will be the cardboard like measuring devices. And then also we got some dice, a little playmat, and then also some terrain. And this terrain is interesting. So it is the look and style of the old terrain that we have previously seen released, maybe like a little bit different, but just overall the same design. But it appears to be either cardboard or MDF, which is something we have never seen from Games Workshop before. Now this actually doesn't surprise me, because part of the problem with Games Workshop's terrain is it inflates the value of all their kits. Now I personally love their terrain. I have a ton of it. I'm always excited to get more of it. But for most people, the actual terrain is not necessarily something that they give like the full value to, because one, once you have some terrain, you don't necessarily need a ton more of it. And oftentimes it feels like when Games Workshop puts it in the box, it's basically to inflate the price of it by giving like extra perceived value. It's also extremely heavy and it takes up a lot of space, which means that like for shipping costs and stuff like that, especially internationally, it adds a lot to the actual expense of these box sets. So it makes it so the actual like floor for what Games Workshop can charge has to go up. And then also it just takes up like a lot of space once you build it, because you can't break it back down typically. And for most people, they have limited space to like store their stuff. It's hard to transport if you're going to go to someone's house to play. And then also a lot of people play at shops where there's already like ample terrain. So this was something that I had talked about a long time ago, and we are finally seeing it from Games Workshop. Massive, massive change. This is crazy. So back in the day, Games Workshop used to put out like cardboard terrain and then got way away from it. They used to also have articles in like White Dwarf and stuff like that, how to make your own terrain, including like stencils and stuff like that. So you could cut it out and then create your own like cardboard terrain or trace it onto like foam or something like that. And they got completely away from that and went out the route of like only selling it to you. And now we're seeing them basically revert to old tactics. And in this case, something that we literally haven't seen in decades, or depending if this is actually MDF, never before. All right, so here we see our 2 teams. So first we have like the Space Marine Heroes right here, the Kill Team Justian. So you have the captain with Power Fist and Plasma Pistol. You have one of the snipers. You have one heavy intercessor with a heavy bolter. And then you have one assault intercessor and then 3 regular intercessors, including like the action pose grenade thrower. So very cool. It does look like you're just going to get these 7 models, so no like random duplicate or anything. And then also for the Plague Marines, so we have a Malignant Plaguecaster, which this model is awesome. And because there's only one like Malignant Plaguecaster, which was the old easy to build kit, it gives you like some diversity if you're running more than one of them in like a big 40k army, which is awesome. We also have the Icon. We've got a Grenadier. We have like the Aspiring Champion with like that cool Plague Dagger and then Plasma Pistol. We have one carrying the Mace, one regular one, and then also one with a, I believe it's the Plague Spitter, which is like a big flamethrower. So very, very cool. Again, 7 of each. These are great starting teams also because they're basically like fixed teams. So you're going to be using exactly what's in the box. You're not going to be swapping out a bunch of stuff. One really cool thing also about Space Marines in general is they have almost identical profiles, like give or take like a wound here or something like that. So it's much easier to learn than you have like a bunch of like mixed teams with a bunch of different profiles. So overall, it's just a better like starting team. And it doesn't mean that these teams aren't good or competitive. So this is a great box. Honestly, I think this is awesome. Also, depending on where you were located around the world, some of these weren't available at all or they were extremely hard to get. So very, very cool. The new 64-page introductory rulebook is designed from the ground up to guide new players through their first few missions, starting simple and adding new concepts as it goes along until a final climactic confrontation puts all the commanders' new knowledge to the test. New builders can follow clear construction guides laced with examples of lore snippets to help them along, followed by an in-depth lore section on each of the kill teams. You can figure out who your favorites are before plunging into combat. So I actually played through the previous starter set for Kill Team, and one thing I really liked about it is exactly what they're saying here. So in your very first game that you play, you're only going to start with a couple models on each side. They're going to tell you exactly what models, where to place them on the board, and then who gets the first turn. It's going to tell you who to shoot at who. It's going to tell you exactly what you need to hit and all that good stuff. And then each time you go through the mission, like the first one might be movement, the second one might be shooting, then combat, and then you're going to start to like add these into a more complicated game by like the fourth or fifth mission. And then finally by the end, you're basically using both teams. You have full opportunity to do whatever you want. And now you have all of these basic concepts built up through the individual missions. And then you're combining all of the rules, all of the tactics, everything you've learned to actually play like the full-on Kill Team game. So very, very cool. A great way to teach new players. And I definitely recommend these starter sets, especially the way they've done it for Kill Team, as it builds on like the foundation that they create in the first couple games. So by the end, you're playing basically full-on Kill Team.
Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video.
Finally, the booklet caps off with a few advanced rules and extra mission conditions to showcase a little of the full Kill Team experience. Rules reference sheets and tokens are included for both teams, while the full rules used in regular Kill Team games will be available for download from the Games Workshop community website. Alright, so here we see the starter handbook and then of course the token sheet. It does appear that it is very, very similar, if not the same, to the one that came in the new Kill Team box set. And then most importantly, because this doesn't actually have the full Kill Team rules inside, you will be able to download those for free from the Warhammer community website. So you don't necessarily need to buy like the actual rule book. You'll have full access to it for free unless you want the physical book yourself. So definitely like the way the Games Workshop is doing this. And then clearly with the terrain, if they're going like the MDF like route or like cardboard route again, they're doing it to cut costs because they realize they have hit the wall with pricing. Their prices have gotten absolutely out of control. And this is a way for them to try to do something a little bit different, to experiment with keeping prices low, but still offering like a nice full box set. This set is fantastic for another reason: the all new terrain. It looks oddly wooden. That's because it is. Kill Team starter set comes with the easy assemble printed MDF terrain that slots together in seconds. So you can get right into your first games without needing to build, paint loads of plastic walls and ruins. Okay, so very interesting. It is definitely MDF. Again, one cool thing about this is you'll be able to just punch it out, slap it together, and then you don't need to glue it. It's going to stay together on its own. So when you're done playing, you can break it straight back down, throw it back in the original box. It's not going to take up a ton of space. And then also, if you're new to the game, you don't have a bunch of terrain and you don't want to spend a ton of time like getting all your stuff together, building it, painting it, you can play right out of the box. Also, I'm not sure if this is going to be the case, but in the past with these Space Marine Hero kits and a lot of like the other starter sets, Games Workshop will actually have two different color plastics in the box set. So it would be like green for the Plague Marines and blue for the Space Marines. So you basically don't even have to do any painting and you're essentially getting like at least a base level immersion right out of the box as soon as you build everything. So very cool. Definitely like to see Games Workshop doing some quote unquote innovation. And I say innovation, even though tons of other companies have been doing this for a long time. And some of the stuff Games Workshop has done or done like previous iterations of. But just the idea that a company this big is actually doing some things differently with hopes to keep costs down for not only themselves, but for the customers as well. And then also to make it so the game is a little bit more approachable to new people getting into it, especially with the massive surge of new people getting into Warhammer because of Space Marine, the video game. So very, very cool. Not only does it build and set up easily, but it also packs down flat as well aboard, making it the most portable and convenient terrain since those little folding cardboard walls that serious Warhammer veterans may remember from the second edition of Warhammer 40,000. It's genuinely exciting prospect for those of us who want to quickly pop up a game out of our pockets at lunchtime. A common occurrence in Warhammer Community Office. The new Kill Team starter set will be coming very soon, hot on the heels of Hivestorm launch set. And then they actually have done something again for the first time ever. It looks like they have gone through and edited this article but they're actually putting a note at the bottom. Correction, a previous version of this article published incorrect images of the token sheet included in this box. The correct tokens are now shown. So again, that is something I've always criticized Games Workshop for. They do their stealth edits of the article. They will put out something incorrect, either information or images, and then they will just go back and stealth correct it with no note or anything like that. So if someone saw the initial article, they would be fooled or just have incorrect information. Now Games Workshop is actually putting a correction at the bottom, making note of the fact that they have made a change to the article. So very cool. And then finally, there is a note down here. Yes, this means there will be rules for the Plague Marine kill teams appearing on Warhammer Community and the Kill Team app in coming weeks. So that basically means that they're going to add the free Kill Team rules to the available Kill Team PDF download and then also the app as well. So very, very cool. Definitely nice to see Games Workshop essentially doing some things differently, realizing that they have hit the price wall and that it's time to take measures to bring prices back down. Also, like their FOMO and availability issues in the past have definitely disenfranchised people or put a bad taste in their mouth. And now they're basically re-releasing some of these hard to get miniatures in this box set. They also put the correction at the bottom instead of self-editing the article. You guys know I'm very critical of Games Workshop, but I'm also the first to pat them on the back when they do something right. And in my opinion, this is multiple steps in the right direction from Games Workshop. I definitely love to see it. I think this looks like a great new box for people that want to try out Kill Team, get started in like the Warhammer hobby, people that potentially have like issues with things taking up a ton of space. So this is going to be nice for breakdown and storage. I got to say, hats off to Games Workshop on this one. Definitely some positive changes. Definitely looks like a nice box. Now we'll see what the price is going to be on this. If they basically just re-release it at the old price and now it's MDF terrain instead, I don't think that's necessarily a positive step. If they keep the price down like at or under $100 by making these changes, I definitely think it's great. So I'm expecting this box to come out right around $100. And let's hope that is the case. But overall, definitely some steps in the right direction from Games Workshop, seeing what some of their competitors are doing or things that they're doing that just aren't working, like FOMO and increasing the box set prices because of like the terrain that's inside, or giving you minimal amounts of terrain because they don't have to ship these heavy boxes internationally. So very, very cool. So let me know what you guys think of the new Kill Team starter set, what you think of these changes. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.